Okay, the next piece of malware I'm going to talk about is something referred to as a Trojan or a Trojan horse, or oftentimes referred to as a RAT or remote access tool. So basically, this Trojan is a seemingly friendly piece of software that contains hidden malicious software. All right, so it's what I refer to as a friendly program that has an evil program bound to it or hidden inside of it. So when you click on it, it triggers an installation without you knowing it. All right, so it's done behind the scenes without you actually understanding what's going on. So it gets its name from the old Greek mythology, where we had the Greeks trying to invade the city of Troy. Right, so they were unsuccessful for quite a long time, so they decided to construct a plan. They built a large wooden horse and basically buried or embedded their soldiers inside of that horse. So they left it outside the gates of the city of Troy and then pretended to leave or sail away, right, seemingly to abandon the horse. So when the Troy army comes out, they see that horse, they take it inside, right, they open the gates, go outside, bring that horse inside, close the gates, and then they begin to celebrate. Right? When they celebrate, what happens? You typically have too much to drink and then they end up falling asleep, right? So after that happens, right, the Greek soldiers wait till everyone falls asleep and they're basically drunk and passed out. They open the wooden horse, they crawl out, they go to the gates, open those gates and let the rest of the soldiers in because they really didn't sail away. They came back around, right, surreptitiously, and they all came in and took over the city of Troy. And the rest is history or mythology, as it were. So we deal with the same type of concept here when we have this wooden horse, although it's now electronically, or it's a program. As an example, something that was popular a few years back was something referred to as elf bowling. Right? It's a game that went out everywhere. It went viral for a short period of time. There are other games or other things out there that are viral. People will bind these Trojan horses to these applications and then send them out. People unknowingly will then click or install that application, and when they do that, the game installs as normal, as you might imagine. All right, so you can go ahead and play the game and you think all is well. However, behind the scenes, it installs that Trojan, which allows other programs to go ahead and download from there. All right, so what do I mean by that? Well, depending upon the type of Trojan that it is, there are things known as remote access tools or remote access Trojans, otherwise known as a RAT, as I mentioned, right? So these RATs, or remote access tools, have been around since the early 90s, give or take, and I have a few listed here that have been around, and these were some of the earlier ones that were out, and there have been newer ones since then. But Sub7, Back Orifice, Beast, what they do is basically allow an attacker to do such things as upload and download files. They can watch webcams, they can turn on audio, keyloggers, so on and so forth. All right, so basically once those things get installed, they can in turn download other programs, or they can allow an attacker to upload or download, turn on a webcam, turn on audio, keylog, and not just necessarily listen to it live. It can capture that information, that audio, video, and files and so forth. And then it can upload to some centralized server or some remote location periodically, on demand, or allow the attacker to come in at any point in time and extract those files as necessary. And you might say, well, my antivirus or whatever will pick these things up. Well, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. There are applications that they use to do what's called binding these applications. They'll change it or tweak it just enough so that they don't register as a piece of malware with antivirus programs. So some can actually go in and shut down antivirus or anti-malware as soon as they install. So again, very insidious. It's always a battle back and forth. As soon as an application gets developed, antivirus comes along not long thereafter, and we'll figure out a way to defeat that, and then it goes back and forth. So don't rest on your laurels and assume, well, I have antivirus or I have anti-malware, I'm covered. You may be or you may not be, depending upon how recent those antivirus definitions are, and also depending upon how new that application is or that vulnerability is. It could be a 0 day that no one knows about. So don't just assume because you have software installed that you're covered.